Right, Joe, another good win for England midweek. I was there and fans are already dreaming, as we always do, about World Cup glory. Come on, fingers crossed we can finally bring football home. But it does always get a lot of people talking about who'll be in, who'll be out. There is a lot of squad depth and there's a lot of people talking about, particularly in those attacking areas, there's probably going to be some high-profile omissions just given the strength and depth England have. So we've given Zach a little bit of a task, which he already looks nervous about, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge omissions and additions in this squad, I think. And what we've got in front of us today is the whiteboard with players that are going to go on the plane and players are going to stay at home. Zach, you're in Thomas Tuchel's seat today. You're picking your 26-man England squad to go to the World Cup in America. We've got 40 players in front of you here, so this is a difficult selection. Abs, you're chipping in throughout with Zach's selection. Which players are going to go, which are going to stay at home? It's very simple.
Are we doing this presuming everyone's fit?
I think
presuming
so, pretty
everyone's
much,
fit,
and other than long-term injuries.
And if the World Cup was imminently, which I know it's a few months ago, but if everyone's fit, who are you picking at start with keepers, mate?
Yeah, let's start with keepers. I think quite topically, James Trafford is maybe the only big talking point for goalkeepers. For me, he's not going. One of the big things about the World Cup, I think you have to have players that are playing. And Trafford right now, unfortunately, obviously with Donnarumma coming to Manchester City, he's just not getting enough minutes. And so for that, he's staying at home currently. However, you know, January transfer market's coming around, like there could possibly be a loan move, whatever it might be, could give himself an option there. And then it leaves the three other ones for me. Pickford,
tap in for
definitely, without a doubt, going,
nailed
absolutely, nailed on starter. What an incredible player he's been for England over the last few years.
41 clean sheets, by the way.
He's a joke.
Pickford,
he's actually one of England's most consistent performers as well, time and time again. Nick Pope, really, really good. Obviously, I think this season he's had a decent first half of it anyway. I know he's out injured currently. And then, the third one, Dean Henderson. Three really solid options for us, I think, personally.
Okay.
Yeah, so try to make sure my alignment is pretty good as well.
Don't worry about that.
Go to right backs next. We'll start with the full backs.
Yes, this is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
I've made a big call, guys.
Ooh.
I'm not going to lie.
What's the big call? Ooh.
I have got Reece James going, without a doubt.
Naturally.
Fantastic. I just want to give that one to you.
Just quickly on Reece James. Obviously, you're a Chelsea fan. I know you're a big fan. He knows Tuchel very well, of course. If everyone's fit, is he your starting right back for England? Yeah,
without a doubt. Without a doubt. He allows you to play in whatever formation. He can be an overlapping wing back, full back if you need him to. He can come into midfield like he's been doing this season. I think one of the things he's added to his game as well that is actually quite crucial for this England side is leadership. Like he's the captain of Chelsea. I think you're seeing that on the pitch a lot more now. Backing players, like being one of the guys that will happily go and speak to the ref. I think that's a really big thing for him. Okay. But also, just his ability on the ball. He can make something out of nothing. He's fantastic.
But you were going to say there's a bigger mission coming.
Yeah, so it leaves me with two of these guys.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, fantastic player. Really like him. Tino Livramento, fantastic player. Also really like him. Trent isn't playing enough. He's not playing enough for me.
So you're leaving him out?
And look, there's been... I think the Euros last year showed us that the England team at the moment can't work with Trent Alexander-Arnold in the side. And I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it. I feel like we look back in the years and one of the issues that we had, I think it all comes down to when Scholes was being spoken about and when he was being played on the left, when really it shouldn't have happened. And one thing that I like that what Tuchel's done so far, he's not just playing players because they're a big name. It's about the system. It's about what's best for England. Okay, I might have to upset you, Trent. I'm really sorry. And look, if he starts playing a lot more and becomes the starter for Real Madrid and is having good and big games for them, I would be more than happy to get him on the plane. But for now, I want to send him home.
Wow, it's a big omission. Abs, we've got to get your take on that. Zach is not taking Trent Alexander-Arnold to the World Cup.
I hear his explanation, but I just think that Livramento and Reece James are probably more similar profiles. So I think, if anything, you have a better version of Livramento and Reece James, and you have a unicorn in Trent Alexander-Arnold. I just think his skills and his weapons, as you well know, are so unique.
No, I do agree.
I think they just have to be there. Because you can just create.
But does he, like, for England, one of the best things that England have had over the last few years is a really solid defence.
Yeah.
They've all, like, in the national tournaments, your defence being one of your best part of your games, or the strongest part, is actually really positive. And I do wonder whether England's defence, and I'm not trying to push a rhetoric that Trent can't defend. I do think he is a better defender than people make out. But England's defence is stronger. I think starting with Tino or Reece James.
For me, Trent has to go.
Yeah, I think
Trent has to go.
That's a road call.
I think even the
but-
debate on who starts, even if there's an argument that Trent doesn't start, which I can understand your argument for Reece James, Trent offers something so different as an option off the bench. He can play multiple positions.
He's not
has
playing
to go for
enough.
me.
I think he will play for me.
Yeah. Okay.
If he does, then I'm happy to change. I would be happy to change
Are there any
things.
nailed-on centre-back names you have to take? You could
I
definitely go on
think
that
John
board?
Stones going. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been one of England's best players as well.
Surely
in
Gahey.
tournaments. Gahey
Is that
going.
the starting two for you if everyone's fit? Gahey and
I
Stones.
think so. There's one other one who we'll get on there. I think Quansah going. I think it's Gahey 100%.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's Stones, it's Quansah. Like
Those three.
those three are
Surely
the
those three are nailed on if they're all fit.
Those three, but we can't actually forget about the experience of John Stones.
Yeah.
John Stones is going to be
I
unbelievable.
think that's
Agreed.
huge as well, in tournament football as well, because England have got such a young, exciting team.
Yeah.
But it's the experience that we
Yeah.
will need as well in, the Declan Rice, the John Stones, the Harry Kanes to balance that as well. I think,
most certainly.
especially defensively, he's going to be an important player for England.
So I'm left with a conundrum here, right? I think what will actually happen is Tuchel will take five centre-backs.
Okay.
I'm going to take 4, personally.
Okay.
If he was fit, Levi Colwill would be on this plane for me. Maybe my Chelsea side comes into this. I think a left-footed centre-back is really important for how we want to play, for how the system is. I would give a shout-out to Harry Maguire. I think he's somebody for England over the last few years has been so crucial to what we've wanted to do. But I think for this tournament, I'm keeping him at home.
Okay. And obviously Levi's not available. He's got the ACL injury, which is very sad.
unfortunately.
So unfortunate, because I really think he's just a nailed-on starter. I want to give a shout-out to Trevor Djellab. Obviously, we've seen him call up for this most recent one. I think he's a fantastic player. I think for the left centre-back role, there are other players I'll be putting ahead of him right now, which is how I'd be looking at this. But yeah, he's
given his
at home as well.
Premier League and England debut by the same man, Thomas Tuchel.
Tuchel does love, and he's also versatile. Can play left centre back, can play right centre back, can play right back, can play DM. He does cover lots of positions.
So you've got one more you're going to select.
I've got 3 players here that are very interesting.
Dan Burn, Quansah, and Branthwaite.
Jared Branthwaite is, I think, given your argument around Trent, I think the Branthwaite inclusion is rogue.
So this is where Branthwaite is
injured for so long.
So Branthwaite is injured. Trent is just not playing.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 big differences here, and I think England need a left-footed centre back, just in the squad. And that leaves you these 2, really.
Who would you pick, Abs, before we get Zach's decision?
Yeah, Branthwaite easily.
Even though we've seen him have a massive hamstring problem.
That's the agreement here. I agree.
Easily, though.
He's undergone surgery on that hamstring issue.
Yeah, obviously we have to hope that he comes back injured. But I think in terms of quality, Branthwaite has gone. We can't forget a couple of seasons ago we were linked quite strongly to Branthwaite, and his performances did dip straight afterwards. I do remember that they did. But I think what the tools that he has, tall, strong, can play with both feet actually as well quite comfortably, can get out.
Good on the ball. There's
It's
pace on him as well.
He has
Are those arguments not very similar to Dan Burn? Dan Burn's been part of one of the best defences in the league over the last 12 months. It's still really solid.
I do feel like Dan Burn
despite the
has.
fact they're not scoring goals at the moment. He's played left back, centre back, amazing in the air.
I feel like he has
leader
dropped
up
off
the
a little
field.
bit this season, though. I do feel like he's dropped off a little bit this season. And look, we're saying this with this guy having not played a single game, and I completely appreciate that. And this is where maybe I'm looking forward to him coming back and from injury, and I think he really would step up.
If it's between them 2, I think this is a correct
Exactly.
decision for me.
I like Quansah as well, and I like that he's been called up.
Yep.
But I don't think he's going to the World Cup for me.
Get him up.
I will.
Branthwaite going in there.
On there. And also, I'm sorry, Dan
Fingers
Burn.
crossed
I
he
do
does come back.
apologise.
Quansah as
Sorry,
well,
Dan.
interestingly, been in quite a few squads, but still not capped actually yet. So still yet to make his England
The
debut.
left back slot, very interesting as well.
So
Similar debate to the right back slot, I would say.
So let's look at all the names you've got.
Yes.
You've got Lewis Skelly, you've got
Lewis
Jed
Skelly.
Spence.
Indeed. Jed Spence.
Nico O'Reilly. and I
Nico
presume
O'Reilly.
You've also got Lewis Hall. So you've
Yeah.
taken 2 of the 4 here. How many?
I'm taking 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I find this actually quite difficult.
This is not easy.
I really do. Interestingly, compared to what Tuchel hasn't done, I'm taking Miles Lewis Skelly.
Okay, you're nodding.
I think he
heavily.
is. You mentioned like a unicorn player. I think not quite maybe to the level of Trent, but he has the ability to step into midfield. Well, that's what we've seen. What Tuchel does want his fullbacks to do at times: come into midfield. He did that really well at his last call-up for England. I understand Tuchel's idea of like mentioning about how he needs game time to really push the player. I think that's absolutely fair enough. But for me, he's on the plane.
On that, is that because Tuchel's mentioned that, Zach correctly pointed that out, he's not in the current England squad, and he has spoken about the importance of game time. Do you think that is a fear for some of these players like Lewis Skelly, who's, I mean, to be fair to him, the competition he's got at Arsenal is incredible. His ceiling is a joke, we all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable. But could that count against him when it comes to the squad selection?
Obviously, all of these players are going to be considering that because Tuchel's shown, based on what you're playing, how you're playing for your club, is why I'm going to pick you to play for England. But I just think Lewis Skelly's been unbelievable. He showed that in the last 6 months of the season last year, and he's only being outed by Calafiori, who's been unbelievable this season. There's only one way to describe it. But I think there's been a lot of fanfare about Miles Lewis Skelly, but I think he must go. What he provides, the solutions are unbelievable.
So that leaves one more of the three.
I really like Jed Spence. And I think taking him, I see the positives. A guy that can cover left back and right back. I would also say on our plane right now, Tino Livramento does that same thing. Someone that can play left back when needed. I wouldn't be taking him to the World Cup.
It's interesting you said that because I think exactly what you're saying. His versatility, the fact that he can play on both flanks. We've seen it with Trippier for years. He was so versatile, and that stood England in great stead. I think the fact that he's fit and can play on both sides will work in his favour.
I just think that for me taking Tino, I think I've got that bit covered. I think with Tino Livramento going, I've got that bit covered. And I do think Tino Livramento is a better player than Jed Spence. I think if Jed Spence if we're trying to play a defensive game, I'd actually go for a bit more of Spence's quality and have him in the side for that. So it depends maybe what style of football you're looking to play. But otherwise, I'd be going for someone like Tino.
All right, let's make a call on who's going then.
Who's going? I want to know who's going.
Right now, if you ask me to do it right now, it's O'Reilly.
Okay.
I think he's had a hell of a season. If we're looking towards the future, I always felt like Lewis Hall would be the starting left back like 2 years ago for England, and it's a shame that due to injuries we've not seen him do that. But I'm going to take O'Reilly for now, and I'm kind of changing my idea about injuries and whatsoever. But with Lewis Hall, we need to see.
I know what you mean. Lewis Hall's such a good player.
He is so good. We need to see him
injury-free. Such a top player.
Deep line midfielders.
Let's go to the midfield names.
Any nailed-on names we can stick up?
Nailed on straight away. Wharton, get him on there. Get him on the plane, 100%. Anderson, 100%. Get him on there.
Anderson is the nailed-on starter in the sixth role now?
I think it's between him and Wharton. Genuinely, I think maybe it depends on what type of game we're playing as well. How much possession we think we're going to have in that game. I think Wharton could be. If you ask me to pick between either player, I would go for maybe my preferable player is Adam Wharton. Just I don't know what it is exactly. This isn't necessarily a slight on Elliot Anderson, but I think Wharton's just. I don't know. He's got something special about him. Not to say that Anderson doesn't, but there is that little special quality.
Who would you start, Abs?
I'm in complete agreement, actually. Again, I find myself agreeing with Zach a bit too much today. But I think Adam Morton just... And I agree in terms of it depends on the opposition who we're playing against. Well, there are a couple of positions in this England lineup now. We're going to talk about the 10s a bit later. In the 6, I'm more than happy with Elliot Anderson against any opposition, and I'm more than happy for Adam Wharton against any opposition. If it's a low block, maybe Wharton to unlock his passing range is unbelievable with his left foot, and Elliot Anderson is such a strong, hard worker off the ball.
I think they're both good. I mean, let's stick Declan Rice up.
Whack Declan Rice up there. Yeah, what a guy.
England.
And that leaves me 3 players: Curtis Jones, Alex Scott, and Jordan Henderson. And Jordan's going for me. Jordan's going. I think this is where like maybe as a fan you sit there and go like, well, is he going to play? I actually think he's been really good for Brentford so far this season. Been quite surprisingly good actually to what I think people maybe expected. And I really like the inclusion of Alex Scott. I think that's a really fun move from Tuchel. However, there's a side that we don't see of captaincy and just like being able to have experience in the dressing room.
Would be his 7th major tournament, by the way. I think it's his 4th World Cup in a row if Henderson does go.
I wouldn't take Henderson, by the way.
You wouldn't
say Henderson?
No, I think it's time to move on. If between those 3 names that you mentioned, I would have taken Curtis Jones for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
I just think the experience is needed. I think the experience is needed.
It's a very young squad up there. I'm looking at how young that squad is. Wharton, Anderson, O'Reilly,
Quality does matter though as well.
That's where Henderson comes in.
Okay.
Get Bellingham up there straight away.
Yeah.
Jude's going.
No combos.
I would then also be 100% taking Morgan Rogers. Without a doubt.
Played a lot under Tuchel.
He started midweek is a big
Tuchel
bonus.
loves him.
Yeah,
I think it
Tuchel.
showcases that Tuchel
A lot
loves
of
him.
consecutive matches under Tuchel as well.
Yeah, I think, and deservedly so. Like for England, he's been really, really good. Cole Palmer going, absolutely going, without a doubt.
England's most important player for me.
In my opinion, should be starting as well.
Will he start if he's fully fit?
I think he has to. Whether he...
Where's your 3 then? You spoke about the 2. So what is that midfield 3 for you?
Why have you asked that? That's tough.
Because you're on the show, Zach.
No, it's true. It's true.
Rice, presumably.
Rice is there. I think, again, it depends on who we're playing.
Yeah.
I think, again, it depends on who we're playing. But I think you need to... in some way, shape or form, I think you need to have Rice, Wharton, and depending on who you're playing, whether you want a certain maverick or you want a bit more physicality, it's Bellingham or Palmer for me.
Who would you go? Who would you go for?
I think it just depends on who you're playing. I'd say Palmer because I think he has that ability to find something out of nothing and to pop up with a goal and to create space for the team, whatever it's needed.
Yeah.
But if it's a team where we need more running power and physicality, I'd be going with Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Like I'd happily.
Cole
admit
Palmer
that.
must start for me.
What's your 3?
Cole Palmer must start. So it'd be Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, and any one of Wharton or Elliot Anderson. But similar to what we mentioned about Wharton and Anderson, you can see why you go either or, because obviously Jude Bellingham's an unbelievable football player. But for me, Cole Palmer has to start for England.
And so that means presumably Phil Foden.
Phil Foden is going 100%. I think he's been much better this season. I think he's on that plane. Whether he's starting is another question. Amazing placement there for me. And then it leaves me with Morgan Rogers or Eze. Eze's on his way. Eze's coming to the World Cup. So you can whack him there.
So I presume that means Gibbs White just misses out for you.
It goes.
I'd be interested to
stays at
see
home.
if Foden plays in deeper areas like he has been for City for England as well.
Well, we heard Tuchel midweek though saying he sees him as a.
He sees him as a 9, 10, I understand,
Kane.
but he even mentioned that he has been picking up deeper areas on the pitch for City as well. So I'd like to see, maybe there should be games where you might see him in that Rice position. And that also depends on if England are dominating the game. Potentially, it would be very, very fun to watch.
It'd be very, very fun.
I think there's 5 number 10s on the board there.
Yeah. But several of them play different positions.
5
though.
number 10s.
Several of them play different positions.
Yeah.
Like Eze can feature out on the left wing. Foden, we're literally sitting here saying he could play slightly
Versatile,
deeper. We've seen him play on the left wing, though I wouldn't be doing that. Palmer can play on the right wing as well. Palmer has also played up top when needed to. And so Morgan Rogers, again, has featured on that left wing, all capable of playing in different positions.
And it is an area where England are so blessed as well. So if you reduce that, there is a huge name being left
Some
out.
wingers now.
Yes, let's get some wingers on the board. Let's get Saka up there straight away.
Yeah.
Don't need to talk about
Nailed
it.
on.
Can go.
Great goal midweek.
And then it leaves me with Jared Bowen or Noni Madueke. And I think Bowen adds a level where he can play through the middle if needed. But Madueke, I think, just before his injury, was looking really, really hot for Arsenal. Looking really, really good. Looking brilliant for England as well, has to be said. And I don't want to think about a situation where, say, Saka does get injured. But if he does, we do need someone whose actual trade is a winger. And again, Madueke can play on the left if needed. But I think you take Madueke to cover that right wing position as well.
So Bowen's staying at home.
It's a big call.
Yeah, it's a big
You would have taken Bowen?
Yeah, I would have taken Bowen, man. I just think in different, just, he brings something different to that right-hand side. And I think he's so level of influence that he has for his team compared to Noni. Noni really hasn't been a nailed-on starter for Chelsea or Arsenal. Obviously, it's going to be very tough with Saka in the team as well. I think Bowen gives you that main name. He knows what it's like to carry the burden. And I think he's been really good for England, actually, when we watched him as well.
If someone said, like, Bowen instead of Madueke, I'm not going to tear my hair out for sure. Like, I think it's completely understandable. But yeah, for me, I think he's staying there. And then it leaves us the left wing.
This is another one of the hardest slots, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. So my kind of 3 players is Anthony Gordon, Marcus Rashford, and then Jack Grealish. I'm keeping Jack Grealish at home.
Really? You're not taking all 3?
No, I'm taking... Again, keep in mind that, Rogers there who can play on the left, Eze's there who can play off the left. Anthony Gordon and Rashford. Rashford, I think Rashford should be starting, to be honest, on that left
Do you
wing.
think as well, like you look at how, like Kane, I've watched Kane for years do this for Tottenham, but particularly with Bayern when he's got pace outside him. Kane is so effective when he drops in that number 10 role, and his range of passing is a joke, to be honest. And when he has Saka and pace either side of him, I think the balance of the whole team looks so much stronger. And we've seen it with Bayern, we've seen it with England. Do you agree that you need to play pace either side of him? And with that said, Rashford, that fit of Rashford on the left and Saka.
Rashford always another one for me that
well.
must start as well. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We've seen the relationship that Kane and Son had together for how many years for Spurs as well. We have to try and replicate that. Harry Kane is performing at one of the highest levels in Europe out of any player right now. We have to facilitate for that by putting runners around him.
Yeah, so you'd start Rashford. Would you start Rashford as well?
I'd be starting Rashford.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to actually ask him, would you be taking Grealish?
I'd take Grealish.
You'd take all 3?
I'd probably take him instead of... Because how many spots would that leave us if we take all 3?
If we take all 3,
maybe one more.
We leave one more, which is, I guess, for Harry Kane.
Yes, that would just be Harry. So I'd maybe take him instead. This will be based on what it's like form instead of the name, rather, because I think Grealish has been unbelievable this season. And Anthony Gordon has been struggling for quite a while.
Has been good for England this season.
He has been, but also you already tick that Gordon
profile.
Are you worried
about
with
that
Rashford.
Gordon form? I think Newcastle fans are fairly worried about the
Yeah.
form of the
It's
moment.
good in the Champions League. Perspective-wise, though, for England, and I think it's got 4 in the Champions League as well, so it's got to balance it. But
For me, it's balance of profiles. I think we tick that pacey winger with Rashford, and then you give someone whose creativity is is unbelievable from Grealish, especially this season as well. I think I would take Grealish, just of difference of profiles.
okay,
I get what you mean.
it's your list, Zach. So you are leaving Jack
leaving Grealish at home.
Grealish staying at home.
Okay.
If I can give you all of them, my friends.
It is telling he hasn't been
them as
involved
well.
in this squad still under Thomas
Yeah.
Tuchel, despite this sensational form.
Yeah, I feel like the Jack Grealish hype of him kind of doing something for England and being that big player for England was really just like in 2021,
Yeah,
the Euros
yeah,
here.
yeah.
That was the hype of it, and ever
Some-
since,
yeah.
it's not quite been the same. And then we go to the strikers, where I've got really 2. Let's get Harry Kane up there straight
Yeah,
away.
quickly.
best striker in the world, just quickly for you right now.
Yeah. Yes, like if again, it's him or Haaland, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's him or Haaland, and
Or
I
Mbappe.
think
Or
or
Mbappe,
Mbappe,
yeah.
sure. But I think what Harry Kane can do overall,
The complete
he's the
package.
complete
Yeah,
package.
yeah.
But again, like if someone said either of the other 2, absolutely fair
Yeah.
enough. And then I've got 3 other options, and I think this really,
And we've also got names that we haven't even got printed there. Obviously, the likes of Ivan Toney,
Yeah.
who obviously was part of the squad. Now, it'll be interesting to see what it does. Solanke, obviously currently injured. But just to give it context, because there's a big chat has made about the fact that you take Harry Kane out and the drop off in terms of statistics and goals is quite stark. So
Massively.
these are the other options, and you've also got Djellab, Watkins, and Welbeck. So
I
all
would
good players,
say-
but you can't say them all. Who do you go take?
One spot left.
for me,
One spot.
for this, I'd be doing it more on who's on hottest form
Yeah.
pre the World Cup. So if it's Welbeck, who's obviously been brilliant at the moment, then it's him. If it's Watkins, it's him. If it's Djellab, you take him. For this, I'm just going to take Watkins as the general profile fit. I'll give you these.
Yeah,
two
see that.
Yeah.
But my one with that one is literally like whoever is on the hottest form,
Yeah.
whoever is doing the best, come to the end of the season, you take them.
Do you agree with that, Abs? Because it is the one position where you can actually look at, obviously, the job of a goal scorer scoring goals. You can actually look at that
Yeah.
statistically and go, well, who's actually performing and scoring
hot,
goals?
and that's important for strikers as well, for them to come in with a lot of confidence going into an international tournament. I agree. Ollie Watkins.
Overall, what are your thoughts on that then?
I
What
think-
don't you like? What changes
Yeah,
would
this
you make?
is this. I don't like Trent not being in it.
That's-
I don't
Trent's
like
gotta
him
be in it.
being
He has to
I
be in
think
it.
he
Trent
has
has
to.
to
I don't
go.
see
So
a
who
squad.
goes instead? You think Tino?
I
comes-
think Tino, because he can cover at left back. I don't know.
You can have him as a
necessarily need two
utility,
left backs.
versatile kind of player as well. But for me, you just can't have a squad without Trent Alexander.
Trent's gotta go.
I think that's really the only main one. The rest of them, I can understand the argument that Zach has made. I would have taken Grealish as well.
And
I don't
Bowen,
think you can leave
you
Grealish
said
at
as
home.
well.
Bowen as well would have
Yeah.
taken instead of Noni Madueke. But those ones are a bit more marginal. But the huge one is
So does,
the
it win the
only
World,
headline.
does that win the World Cup, that squad?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it can anyway.
Yeah.
It most certainly has the talent to. Look at this talent pool.
It is-
Like
it is a
joke.
in world football, I think only maybe France has more ridiculous levels of talent
The
in
depth.
so many different. But
The depth, yeah.
of quality is ridiculous. Over to you, Thomas Tuchel.
I like that. There we go. We're all getting overly excited again. I love it. Come on, England.
Every
There is
time.
confirmation
Every
anyway
time.
of Zach's 26-man England squad that will hopefully bring the World Cup home.